We're here in Atlanta, Georgia, at Citrix Synergy event, and I'm speaking with PJ Hough. How are you doing today?
Good, good.
And what's your role in the company?
I'm the Chief Product Officer.
Great. So Citrix had a lot of announcements today and throughout the show of some of the new things you're working on. Maybe you can tell some of our viewers about that.
Sure. Let's start with probably the biggest announcement and the one that I think is getting most coverage. We announced a whole new set of capabilities in the Workspace, a new set of intelligent experiences. And they're really designed to modernize the application consumption experience inside the Workspace. We really are attempting to break down some of the very large enterprise complex applications and build micro application experiences around them that surface in the Workspace, making it much easier to complete those daily tasks that we all have to do, and providing that to the user in a way that's very familiar. We chose the feed metaphor that's common from social and other applications, and so it's a very different user paradigm, but it's also a different way to interact with the rest of your organization in a way that I think helps people stay in context and get a lot more done.
Right. And I know that, what was the other big thing you talked about, the Citrix Analytics that's new?
Yeah, so some of the experiences in the Workspace are powered by analytics, but we also have a new set of capabilities around performance analytics, which are really designed to help Citrix administrators understand at the individual user level what's going on in their deployments, so that they can really pinpoint individual users or groups of users that are not maybe getting the best overall experience, and then help isolate the problems so that they can even proactively go address some of those issues for those users.
You also had an announcement around networking. What was that about?
Yeah, so we had actually several big announcements around networking. Maybe I'll start with the Microsoft related announcements because we've done some very specific things. Actually, I'll put it in the context of Microsoft. So we've been working with Microsoft on really trying to deliver a better end-to-end experience for customers moving to the cloud. We had announcements around support for basically a new turnkey desktop as a service built on Azure, exclusively on Azure. We're adding support in Citrix apps and desktops for Windows Virtual Desktop, the new edition of Windows that's going to be part of Azure. That will come out later this year, and we're going to have day one support. I'm really excited about that. We also added new capabilities around Microsoft Teams for virtual application delivery for Teams, new HDX optimizations, really significant, and keeps us, I think, at the top of our game with regard to making the best Microsoft applications work best on Citrix. And then for remote users, we announced a new set of capabilities with Citrix SD-WAN, really about connecting up branch offices to Azure so that, and Office 365, so that your traffic is not only secure, but it's highly optimized. And then finally, Microsoft have recently made some announcements around changes to the Intune APIs for conditional access to help secure devices, and we announced support for those Intune APIs in Citrix Endpoint Management. So networking was embedded in there, but there were a lot of other announcements that were broadly about Microsoft. We also did have some other networking announcements that related to supporting customers who are moving their applications to the cloud, what we call hybrid multi-cloud, and we've basically built out a full set of hardware appliances, software, container software versions of our ADC, virtual instances of our ADC, and we announced at the conference a new bare metal version of ADC, which means you can run it on any custom hardware you have, or you can run it as a bare metal instance in a public cloud. So really significant announcements in networking.
And what about the cloud? I know you had some announcements, Amazon and Google, I believe.
Yeah, our biggest announcements, aside from the Microsoft announcements around Azure, were with Google. We announced that our machine creation services, the way that customers typically deploy very large deployments of Citrix, we're going to enable the MCS for Google Cloud, which means that customers will be able to now roll out very significant deployments on Google. We announced G Suite integration into the Workspace, which is, it's really important. We see more and more customers adopting all of our parts of G Suite, and so we're going to integrate that natively into the Workspace. We announced new high availability of our networking portfolio of our ADC on GCP, which means that you can deploy even your most business critical applications now on the Google Cloud using our networking stack. And finally, in the workspace, we announced support for Google Identity. And by adding Google Identity to the list that already includes Azure Active Directory, Okta, and Ping, we feel like we've covered all of the core identity services with multi-factor auth for every one of them. I think that's all the announcements we had.
That's a lot.
But it was quite an array of announcements, yeah.
Well, great. Thank you for taking the time to speak with VMblog, and I hope you have a great show.
Thank you. Always great to chat with you guys. Thank you.